Here at 1918 Tap-In Table, and things are going quite well here tonight. This is probably, we're not celebrating here, but this is what you wanted tonight, so a good result.
It is. To me, it means that Calgarians looked at more than the emotional idea of hosting the Olympics, and they considered other information, and many of them decided that this isn't the right project for Calgary now.
We're going to hear from Mary Moran here shortly, but in a statement, she said that, hoping to collectively harness the energy invested in the discussion about the Games bid and channel it into a robust conversation about the future, our economy, and job creation. This sounds like a similar message to what your side has been saying for the last little while.
Yeah, our message was that we think that can be done more easily without hosting the Olympics rather than with hosting the Olympics. We felt hosting the Olympics would be a distraction from those very things that she's talking about, and so we're happy to join in that conversation with her.
And you did this on a shoestring budget. That's no small feat. We talked earlier tonight about how they had Olympians behind them, people who they recognized their faces when they saw them on TV. You didn't have that, and it still got the results here at the end.
No, I'm a nobody. I'm a Calgarian who just wanted to ensure that the conversation was rounded out and not simply, a bid book that is a marketing document in the end. And I was worried that we needed more information to ensure that Calgarians think about it in a more thorough way. And so that was our goal, and I think it seemed to have worked.
So what does No YYC Olympics do now? Obviously, you've sort of created this group of people who sort of think the same thing. We didn't necessarily want the Olympics, but still want great things to happen for this city. How do you galvanize those people now going forward and focus that energy towards getting the things that they want that aren't the Olympics?
The thing I found really interesting, and it was a learning curve for me, is that this was a single issue across the whole city, and across political lines. It reached people from many different groups and walks of life. And I wouldn't have run into people that I ended up working with on this campaign without this focus. And so it opened my eyes to the idea of talking to a broad range of people and getting more input and broader input. And I'm hoping that continues. I hope many other Calgarians felt that as well, and that's something to build on. For a while there, sometimes we were accused of being negative or naysayers, and it was never about that for us. I always knew Calgary could host the Olympics if we wanted. I knew if we did, we would be successful. That was never a concern. We really just felt this wasn't the right project. So I am happy to get behind a large project, a risky project, a big investment. I have no hesitation about that for Calgary, but I think it needs to be one that benefits more Calgarians and helps us, for the longer term.
And how do you see Calgary sort of defining itself now? The Olympics would have been an easy thing to use to define the city. Be a part of the energy is the motto when you come into town. You see that on the signs. So how does Calgary sort of define itself going forward now? Now that we're, presumably we won't be hosting the Olympics.
I personally would love to see a better process around being clear about what we are good at and what our benefits are. There are things we don't have because we're a mid-sized city, and so we don't have things larger cities might have, and that's fine. And I worry that we spend a lot of time and effort trying to be something we weren't, and maybe that's why our messages weren't resonating with people outside of Calgary or to draw businesses here. And so I would love a better, more thorough conversation around what our strengths really are and what is best for Calgary, and maybe bring more Calgarians into that conversation than typically happens. And maybe that will get the support it needs throughout a number of communities and will lead to more success.
Great, excellent. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
A great night here in Kensington, where again the vote was 56% no on the Olympics here, and even though the crowd here has thinned out a little bit through the night here, still a lot of enthusiasm here and a lot of optimism as we look into the future.